Today we have what I call a custom Cool Colors Lasco box fan. While it has a Galaxy grill on it. So you could call it a Lasco Galaxy Custom Cool Colors. The story, I won't spend an inordinate time going to the story because we did a video on this a number of months ago. This was left for dead in the dump. My son rescued it, restored the cabinet. It was rusty, it was disaster, whatever. We've gone through a cracked set of blades, grills, you name it. I know it's a Lasco 3733, I get it, but it's fun, right? It's why we do this stuff. And these parts, if you will, are plentiful at this day and age. So why not restore it versus having it sit under a landfill and now it's living in its green glory. So today we're going to give it a little servicing. This fan was built in, I think we were just talking about it, 2020, 21. So it doesn't get a ton of use, but it does get used, and since 2020 or 2021. So now we want to do servicing and cleaning. So first we will remove the grill. Now that we have the grills removed, it's time to remove the blades. I do have the grills soaking in simple green, laying out in the driveway. There is some dust on them. We just did pretty much conclude that we built this in 2020, so I don't think the grills have been off since then, despite kind of limited use for the fan, or somewhat daily use, but not all the time. There's dust after 4 years, so he will now remove the blades. So the trick with the blades is always pull straight up. Don't rock back and forth because you'll crack that hub. All right, let me do it. The good news is if I do crack these when they come off, I do have I believe we do have a spare set of these somewhere. Straight up, off. So they're just dirty. So while I work on cleaning these up, he is now going to open up the motor. So yeah, this is your typical Lasco with the black shroud, which is part of this. This still spins really nicely. It still spins yeah, that's just dust. That's good to get it out of there. So he will work on that, and I will work on cleaning this. All right, so we now have I'll hold that for you. We now have the cover of the motor off, and the the tiny little shaft out. It's funny because I have a Lasco 3733 from 1997, and it's much larger than this, and even it's different motors, the Marco motor, the D blades on it. But so what he will now do is put some oil, just a few dabs. What's nice is you can still see some oil in there, which is good, really good. That means the last time we did it, it worked out well. And what you're going to want to do over here, you can watch us both at the same time, is there's some dust on the inside of this cover, and so you can see it on the towel. I just want to get it out. Those windings are very clean, they look very good. I think one time I oiled a blue custom cool, or not custom, I think this one, the custom cool colors, the baby blue cool color ones. I oiled it not because it needed it, but really because I was curious about these motors. And I took the whole thing out, and it took me a hot minute to kind of reassemble it. But what he did here is pretty easy. It's the easiest way to do it. Just pop the cover off on this side, and you can pull everything out and have access to everything. So this is now cleaned. All right, so he will oil that. And the fact that the last time we did this was 4 years ago means, like, in my mind, unless you're absolutely murdering one of these fans and running it year round because you like to sleep with your fan on at night year round, and then run it in the summer in the window and at night and day, unless you're doing that, which is a different topic, for somewhat regular summer use, where you don't have it on all day, all night, every day, where you might have it on all day during the weekends and at night in the window. I think you can get away with oiling these once every 5 years, or as needed, meaning you notice that the spin down is suddenly reduced, or when you go to start it up even on low, you get that hum and the blades struggle and they finally move. Usually you should not let it get that bad, but in this case, it's been 4 years, and the fan was kind of dirty, so we decided to open it up All right, so he's gonna reassemble. Whoa. There it goes. You can feel it. You can just feel the oil, and it's great. You feel the oil working its way in there. Okay. And I know we, as collectors or whatnot, kind of give Lasco and everybody a hard time about these fans. Is that correct? It just seems. There we go. I'll hold it for you. I know we get oil galore. As I was saying, I know we give Lasco a hard time for the quality on these things at times, but on the flip side, they are easy to work on. I talk about it ad nauseum in my other videos about my McGraw Edison comfort fan and my frustrations with the blades. And you do pull a motor apart on that, and it can be challenging because the motor's mounted into the grill. I personally like that; it's really cool, but it's a pain to work on. And then when you pull the motor apart, there's all these washers on the shaft, and you have to remember the order they go in, and it's more difficult. And I've talked also ad nauseum about the blades slipping because you can't line them up properly. It's virtually impossible unless you somehow get totally lucky. Where this, it's almost like it's more. I think it's more challenging to put together a Lego model than to actually disassemble this and reassemble it. Oh, that feels really good. Obviously the easiest way to oil would be oil ports, which are virtually non-existent, except I've seen on some floor fans. I've seen in other videos, I should say. I don't know quite how old they are, but oil ports, if they would just do that and include it in the instructions for longevity of your fan, oil it. I mean, there are so many products out there that we have to oil. Think about a squeaky door. It's not like you just keep using a door until it squeaks so bad or the hinges dry up that you can't open the door. You oil it. Obviously, it's a different type of oil in the door. That's WD-40 versus non-detergent oil, like Zoom Spout. You got them all in?
Yep.
All right. So I've done this in other videos, but just to help align the shaft inside the bearings. That it feels amazing. All right, so now that we've completed that, the next thing to do is to get a non-harsh, or maybe you say non-abrasive detergent, or whatever, like Windex is what I'm getting at. Windex type cleaner to spray down the inside of the cabinet. So he will get that and apply that next. I have the grills still drying, and then we will clean the cabinet. All right, we will now clean it. Now that the cabinet's cleaned with some simple cleaner, and we'll apply a light coat of wax. In this case, I'm using my expensive Meguiar's car wax, which I typically don't use. I typically use just something more basic and simple, turtle wax. I don't have any on hand at the moment, so the fact that you just really need a small dab or two of wax for the cabinet, this will suffice. Now, what I've talked about in other videos is, one, if you are in humid climates and use these fans, even if you are super good about not running it in the window when it's raining or whatever, there's moisture in the air, and what will happen is the blades, as they're spinning, you get that line of almost rust inside the cabinet. And for whatever reason, many box fans are notorious for the bottom rusting, like quicker than the rest of it. So that really protects it. The fact that we refinished this cabinet a few years ago, and I can't recall if we did put primer on it before we even put this coat of green paint on it, this should not rust, because it has a couple coats on it, and it's well loved and taken care of. It has a previously, I'm sure we put a coat of wax on it after we did the kind of the restoration of it. So this will keep it on there, and it also, quite frankly, aside from protecting it from the rust, it also gives it that new feeling when you go to pick it up and move it. It just it has that gloss, which is really cool. So it doesn't take much, just a few dabs. It's not like we're waxing a vehicle that has never been waxed before and it just drinks the wax up. This just a little bit of dab, and then we also do the blades as well. I think a coat of wax protects it from the sun. If you decide to use it in the window, it's just like your vehicle, right? Coat of wax protects it. This will also protect your blades, and I hope in some cases it protects it from warping a bit. I know the warping has to do a lot of times with the heat versus really just the brightness of the sun, which is more the yellowing. So we'll do the blades. And I've talked about in other videos, and I could just be making this up, but I do feel it does slightly, not that it's noticeable, but I'm wondering if it does help with the performance, because there's a super smooth surface with the wax on the blades that maybe cuts through the air, just even if it's like 0.00001%, it's something, as well as it again, as I talked about, preserves those blades as well. And the thing is, if you take the time to do this, because you have the blades off, you don't have to take the blades off to wax them, obviously. Typically when I'm just doing a cleaning and not an oiling, I don't take the blades off to wax them. I do it while it's on there. I only like to remove the blades when I'm doing an oiling, and not for any other reason, because certainly it will, I think over time, the center of the hub where the shaft is, it kind of makes it easier for the blades to come off, because there's more play. The fact that there was some kind of grab to these blades, they weren't just like boop, pop right off, is good. Now, because it's 2024 and these fans are, thousands of them exist, if you somehow crack your hub, parts are plentiful. All right, so once he's done with that, he's going to do a quick coating to the blades. So the blades are they're cleaned, and I also wipe them down. All right, so now it is time to put the blades back onto the fan. So what I like about these is it has the flat part. Typically, to help myself, I like to put the flat part top dead center, and then easily line up the flat part of the hub, and give it a little push. That went on nice. So let's give it a little test drive before we put the grills back on. So it is imperatively important that he has one hand on this blade or this fan while we do this, because we know that these, you didn't even have to put the feet on. I would certainly hold it while we turn it on. All right. I can tell already spin down is really, really good. Look at that. Look at that keep going and going. All right, so last step, get those grills back on. All right, now that we have the grills put back into place, just to review, we disassembled, cleaned, oiled the motor, put a light coat of wax on the blades after we washed the grills and the blades. So we're back in order. If you hear a slight hum in the background, you might, you can't see it, barely in the frame of this, there is a Toastmaster running on low up on the shelf, so that's where the hum's coming from. So when we run this, it's not this. So we want to crank it up for the final test. All right. So with that being said, thanks for watching. We'll watch, as we watch the spin down, I'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching. Make sure you comment and like. And if you are into box fans, definitely subscribe to the channel and check out some of the older videos we've done on many box fans. And now that we're getting into the off season, we will take a look at the ones we used this year and begin servicing them. So we'll see you on the next one.